Welcome to the United Show. We are live. It's too good to be true. Nathan's sound has gone once again. His sound is reliable as Man United's back four right now. Yes, I know. Paul's probably in the comments section cursing me right now. Bobby's losing his mind. But we're here. He's back. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm all right.
Oh, good. We've got plenty to talk about tonight. Is it doing it in slow motion?
No, it's all fine. It's all good.
All right, good.
It was doing it in slow motion.
Oh, for about a brief second.
Welcome to the United Show.
Yeah. Well, it's not doing it now. We've got plenty to discuss tonight. We're also going to be joined by James Dixon. Big Man United fan. He's going to be giving his 2 pence worth on Man United's end to the season, what it's looking like right now. We've got Rashford and Sancho not in the England squad. Some say it's just because it's a friendly. I think it's a little bit otherwise. If you actually read Gareth Southgate's comments, he actually states that there's other players ahead of him at the moment. So yeah, we get onto that as well. Also, Juan Mata is coming. It's farewell to Juan Mata. You got to see him the other night, but have Man United used him to his full extent? A lot of people will say no. And when you look at the stats, you're left wondering why Man United have not used such a useful player. First and foremost, Nathan, the dust has settled slightly on the loss against Atletico Madrid. Was there any point in the game where you felt like Man United could get something out of it and potentially sneak into the next round?
Yeah, first 20 minutes, first 30 minutes, we were looking pretty good. We were looking like we was more in control, but I think we were just playing more into their hands. I think they wanted to do that, and they knew they could just give us the ball away from home, not expend too much energy by sitting back, and then just using the energy to attack us. And we played right into their hands. They were much more quality. Look, they had 3 or 4 players attacking at one time, doing better than I had 10 players attacking, and that's what happened. They made 2 clear-cut chances. One was just offside, one was a goal, and that's all it took. But for us, continuous possession of the ball and nothing. So we didn't create nothing. Again, whenever we come up against these big boys, we're unstuck. We can't create a clear-cut chance. Easy. We created 1 chance in that game, Alanga, from point-blank range. Apart from that, with boys that we've got on that pitch, how you can create only 1 chance against Atletico Madrid is very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing.
Was it a tactical issue? Was it the players not the right players in the team? What do you put it down to? Were they just a better team?
They are a better team. That's number one. But Mata, you mentioned earlier, Mata, he's an unbelievable player. This guy, has got great ability to think above everyone else. Winner, I think World Cup winner, European. He's everything winner right now. Yeah, and he's in our side. He's not past his best, but he passed his best now, obviously. But what I mean is he's still got a lot to give. But we're in a team that's transitioning and not really able to do anything. He's not as useful as he would be in another team, like a City, for example, or even a Liverpool. It'd be absolutely ridiculous. He'll be creating so many chances for these boys and scoring goals for fun. We should be using him, but we're not, because we don't realize and recognize the importance of the ability to use the ball. What's the word? Smartly.
Yeah. We
don't have smart players like that. It's the only player we've got in the squad that plays that smart and actually retains the ball under pressure for fun. Like, that's why Van der Beek loved playing with him in training. He mentioned it. And then that's why Mata was saying, I like playing with Van der Beek, because they're the 2 kind of players who are intelligent on the ball, intelligent enough to break down Champions League sides. People who know how to lure you in and when to time the pass and keep probing, keep moving until it opens, then you go. That's a speciality in itself.
But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't use Juan Mata for 2 of the years that he was in charge. And then Ralph Ragnick's not coming. Do you think Ralph Ragnick's not used him because he's probably not fit enough? And why do you think the Solskjaer didn't use him?
I think the problem is we were so depleted in so many other areas that we bring in Bruno, and that's a position where he needs to play. Mata shouldn't really be playing out wide right. He shouldn't. He should be in the hole, just where the De Bruyne's play, where the Foden wants to play, where all these middle men play. Bruno, Pogba, they're supposed to play in the attacking position, attacking midfield, and let the quick players play out wider. But what we did is we ended up playing Mata on the right, and then everyone's like, "Oh, he shouldn't play. He's not quick enough." That's because you're playing a slow player who's amazing in the middle out wide. That's just what it is. Imagine, look at how we all know how it is for someone like Rashford playing on the right instead of the left. Imagine a player who isn't even that fast. You're asking him to play on the wings. Doesn't make sense. So he's not going to play even ahead of like a Dan James because he's got pace. That pace is more useful in the team when you've got a Bruno because Bruno's in the middle. So I would have liked to have seen Bruno come off at times and then Mata comes on at times and then use him in other games. But it's just not been used enough. He's been wasted, to be honest. Even his record for us has been, I'm sure it's very, very good. It's ridiculous how they've looked after how they've dealt with him. But it says a lot for everything we've done this year. Even Bailly, same kind of thing. You know, a guy like that who came in the side, was our best defender for quite a while, got injured a lot. Okay, that's fine. But when he's fully fit, you need to play the guy. You know, especially when you got players that are nowhere near as good as him playing in front of him. It doesn't make sense. But if we want to insist on keep doing that, this is what you get. What we get is knocked out early rounds in the Champions League, scraping wins against top bottom of the league teams and getting battered by top of the league teams. That's just how it is at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah. One Mata signed for Man United in 2014 for 37.1 million. He's played 278 games for United, scored 51 goals and got 54 assists. That's over 100 goals in 278 games.
Ridiculous.
That's an excellent goal ratio. He's won an FA Cup, a League Cup, and a Europa League, and he's played 23 games in the last 2 years for Man United, most of them being substitute appearances. They really didn't fancy him, did they? Is he a kind of player that you have to a focal point and build a squad around him? Was the end of his days when Fernandes came in?
Yeah, I think it was more the end of his days because there was no options for where he's going to play. And especially when you see how Bruno throws his toys out the pram the minute he comes off at any time, even if it's the 90th minute. So then you're going to have an unhappy Bruno who's come in and he was our saviour at one point, wasn't he? We were so bad. We had no ability to create anything apart from Mata, but he still didn't play Mata back then. But the thing is, it's the combinations of players, isn't it? It's like Matic himself, like Matic can play central defensive midfielder if you've got the right team around you. But obviously, if your pace is getting exposed because you've got no pace at the back, then Matic plays and he gets paced out, and you're like, he can't play in central defensive midfield. He can't because we're getting ripped. That's what people do, isn't it? Mata can't play on the right because he's not quick enough. He can't pace anyone. No, put him in the middle. Put Matic central defensive midfielder. Let's bring in someone, obviously, that with younger player to take his place soon. But that's the thing. That's what we need to be able to do.
All right, we're joined by James Dixon. How you doing, James?
Yeah, not bad, Kieran. You?
I'm good. We're just talking about Juan Mata and how it's obviously his farewell season. His goal ratio is absolutely ridiculous, and we're just saying. Do you think Man United have got the best out of him?
Well, we signed him in 2014, didn't we? And he arrived on a helicopter on the pitch, and was given the big blow up. And at the time, he was arguably Chelsea's best player, wasn't he? He was superb. So we were all excited by the signing, but we kind of ended up playing him on the right, didn't we? He was one of the best number 10s in the league, and we played him. a diminutive player with no pace. We played him on the right. So a little bit strange. So have we got the best out of Juan Mata? No, clearly not. He's a very, very talented footballer. He can still change games. He's technically very, very good. Does he have the pace to play in the Premier League still at 34? I'm not sure. I'll be honest, I was genuinely shocked when he came on the other night. I was like, I forgot about him. I genuinely forgot. Like, if you go to the games, like before the games, right? They all warm up and they take shooting practice. And Van der Beek and Mata, their only jobs is to lay the balls off for the people that take the shots in the shooting practice. It's crazy, mate.
And Van der Beek's looking at Juan Mata like, is this what I'm going to end up as?
Yeah, basically, it's peak, isn't it? It's absolutely peak.
Word!
It's crazy.
It's shocking.
So yeah, not got the best out of him. He's obviously a player, but it's been his farewell season for about 2 or 3 seasons now, hasn't it? So I guess eventually he's going to go.
He is.
Yeah.
But Nathan, sad to see him go.
100%. I think he's still got ability to play, but it depends what kind of team you're playing in. Like I said, he won't look out of place playing for a City, but he'll look out of place playing for us, like many people do. That's just the problem that we've got. We don't have the ability to put a team together that suit each other, if you get what I mean. So always players playing out of position or someone, not able to play their best. And that's the problem we've had for years. Like now, we've had it for too many years. So what's it matter? He goes. If Mata goes, he goes now. We're not using him anyway. So we're not like going to miss him anymore. But I would miss him because I like his technical ability and his ability to open up and probe, especially when you've got all the possession and you're that's camped in someone's half trying to find an opening. There's no one better than him being on the pitch. And the ball moves faster than play. You don't need to be quick to rip up people. And that's one thing. He needs pace around him so he can find them players. And, it's just not happened. It's just preferred Bruno and Pogba and stuff. So,
as you said, it doesn't matter. Great pun. Didn't even mean to do it. Sorry, dad joke. Last dad joke I'm going to do of the night. All right. I'm sorry. All right. James, before that, we were saying, is Man United season's over? You've still got to fight for the full spot. You still want to get that Champions League spot, but do you see that coming? What's your thoughts on that?
I said after the game the other night that our season was over, to be honest, because that was my reaction, right? Like as soon as we lost, you're in that frame of mind and you're thinking season's over. And then I looked at the table and I'm like, right, Arsenal have 3 games in hand, they're 1 point ahead. And then they lost to Liverpool. So now it's like they're 2 games in hand, right? So realistically, they win both those, they're 7 ahead. My problem isn't that Arsenal can't drop points. My problem is that Man United can't be consistent enough to pick up the points needed. I think that's my major issue with why we won't get top 4. Like every time we get a result, right? Like after the Leeds game, we were all probably really happy. We put in a performance in the wind and rain, something we haven't seen from United in a while. Proper battling performance, and you think, right, we've got the Manchester derby, next week, and we're going to fight. And then for 45 minutes we had 8% possession, and it was just it was so alien from the performance the week before. It's it's absolutely crazy. So you can't trust them, can you, to do the same thing week in, week out?
But we've seen that before. We thought you'd put up a fight against Liverpool. I know it's Liverpool, but it was the same thing as well. Yeah. It seems Leeds is a different story, but they've been very open. But it's when you want Man United to sort of knuckle in and get involved, it just hasn't happened this season, has it, Nathan?
No, it's a thing of superiority, isn't it? These teams that we're playing that are so far superior to us, we look so far off them. It's when the other teams that are similar, kind of like us, we can kind of edge them games. Like we've got the ability to edge them games, like against a Tottenham, against an Arsenal. Even we thought, okay, it's going to be very tight, but they're the games where we can win. But this season, I think the Man Cities, the Liverpool, the Chelsea, we can't win. We just got no chance. It feels like we've got no chance. We're so far off keeping the ball. No chance of keeping possession when we get pressured. It's weird. It's very weird. And you sit there thinking, I've not felt this for years because I grew up supporting United. So I've never felt that before. But now going, wow, these boys are just too good. Like, we can't say nothing to these fans. Like, forget it. It's just like, yeah, you guys are too good. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Stop rubbing it in. That's how I feel.
Yeah. You don't want to feel like that because this is Man United, and when you talk about standards, Man United used to set the standard, but it's fallen very far off. What with regards to the managers as well, James? Who's your preference? We've seen most recently Ten Hag's been labelled as number one target. Pochettino is still some of people's fans' favourites. Who would you like to come in?
To be honest, mate, I don't really have a massive opinion one way or the other. I know on social media it's been pretty pro Ten Hag for a while, right? People seem to like the job he's done with Ajax. He's taken a team that weren't contending. You know, he's taken loads of young footballers. He's got them playing great football and got them playing attractive football, got them winning games. But then the things that people give Ten Hag credit for, like a Champions League semi-final, and doing like winning a Farmers League, basically, they don't give Pochettino credit for, where he gets to a Champions League final, got Spurs to second or third place, and then wins. Yes, and they're going to win the league this season. So it's like the things that they give Ten Hag credit for, they don't give Pochettino for. They say one's an up and coming young manager and one's an old manager. There's 2 years age difference between the two, so I don't buy into that at all. I just think it's very easy for someone to put out an opinion, right? And then people hear that opinion and they treat it as an agenda and they jump on it and they run with it without actually doing any research. And there was a poll on Twitter the other day which was like, how many actual Ajax full 90-minute games have people watched, because they pretend like they've watched 20 this season. I've watched maybe one in the Champions League, mate. I've not watched loads of them. I don't know. I've watched a few more PSG, but realistically, I've not seen enough of either of them. In my mind, it's like you get a manager in. Listen, a manager's not coming in and fixing this shit. We know that. It's been broke since 2005, mate. We all know that. We all know where the issues are, and no one's coming in and fixing that. But like, whoever comes in, support them, give them time, back them, back the players they want, back the system they want to use, and like, let's get behind them. And whoever that is, I'm going to support them. But I'm not really fussed either way. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And as you said, a lot of people will say Ten Hag, but if you ask them why, past he's got them to the Champions League final, whatever, it's like, I don't know. Like, he plays nice football. It's like, okay. But so did De Boer, and he came to Crystal Palace and lost 14 games on the trot. So, and he came from an Ajax team that was invincible as well. So it's tough to judge. Personally, I'd be thinking Poch, his Premier League experience, but right now I think Man United, they just need some structure, some continuity, and the manager who's going to be there for a while as well. Another story we've seen is Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford, Nathan, have not been called up to the England squad. What's your first thoughts on that? It is a friendly against Switzerland. And I don't know who the other friendly is against. Who's it against? Not sure. But yeah, what's your thought? Ivory Coast. But what's your thoughts on that, Nathan?
I was thinking, how the hell can he not put Sancho in that squad? What's going on here? That's what I was thinking. Why is Sancho not in the squad? You know, okay, we can. I love Rashford, but I can see why he's not going to be in the squad. He should never be in the squad. He should be in the Man United squad as it is at the moment. But you know, he can come back and hopefully we'll recapture the form that he's had of the past. But it's definitely Sancho. I can't work that one out. He's been on fire for the last 6-7 games. I don't know how many games it's been, but he's been assisting. He's been playing really, really well. If he can't get in the squad playing like this, how comes he got in the squad before? I don't get it. It don't make no sense. But maybe he's got a niggle. Maybe he told the manager, listen, I got a niggle. Just leave me out for this one. I don't know. But there must be something going on behind that we just don't know and don't see on that one to do with Sancho. But yeah, I can totally understand where the Rashford ones come from, because we all probably expected him not to be in the squad.
Yeah. James, you expected Rashford not to be in the squad, but what about Sancho? Was you expecting to be called up?
Yeah, completely. I mean, he's been unreal, hasn't he, for United? He's been our best player probably for like the last 6-7 games, as Nate said. I think it probably speaks more about where Manchester United are rather than where Jadon Sancho is, to be honest. Like, if you rewind back to when we were young and supporting United, if you played in a Man United team, you would get in your international team. It was simple as that. If you were playing well in a Man United team, you would definitely get in your international team, and you'd probably be starting. So it's crazy to think that you can be United's best player and not get in your international team. That's mental. So yeah, crazy. I heard Southgate came out and said, you look at the wealth of attacking talent we've got. You look at Foden, you look at Sterling, you look at Grealish, and I'm like, well, Grealish has barely played. I know City are running away with the league, but Grealish hasn't. He's not really been in their squad much. So I don't know what Southgate's been watching, but if he's been watching the two, you'd have to pick Sancho over Grealish, surely.
Yeah, he said it's because with the other attacking players in the squad are slightly ahead of him at the moment in our feeling. He's not ruled out Sancho getting in the squad later on, but you look at the attacking players that are in that squad. Emil Smith-Rowe's in there, which I mean he's had a good season, but he hasn't been playing lately. He's been injured and he's had a couple of bouts of COVID, and he's been on the bench a lot, coming off the bench and scoring. Obviously, Saka's in there, Raheem Sterling. Jack Grealish, as you just said there, Tammy Abraham, who's in good form. But yeah, of the two, it may have been potentially Smith-Rowe or Jack Grealish. Can you see Southgate dropping either of those?
Well, I would have thought.
Go on, Nate.
I was just going to say, I would have thought it would have been probably Emil Smith-Rowe, the fact that he's been injured and not playing as well, and Sancho's doing his job. You can expect Saka. Saka's been on fire. I watched him the other day, looking sharp as hell. Sterling scoring goals for fun, helping City play as well. So you can expect that. And Grealish, okay, he's come in and he's done well when he's come in as well. He's getting more comfortable with the City side. So he is kind of looking better. I can understand that. But I think, I don't think he really sees Sancho up there anyway. Even when he was ripping it at Dortmund, he was coming in the squad and not playing. So are we really thinking too much into this? I think, look, he's doing okay, but he's still not at the Dortmund level he was. Obviously, just a little bit off, especially because the United team's actually not getting the results as well. But if he's not going to get in when he's at Dortmund ripping it, come on. The manager don't really rate him as high as we all do, that's for sure. Otherwise, he'd be in there and playing more, getting much more game time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So James, sorry. Surprised that he didn't get in over the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe then?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the problem is, right, I think we're all kind of living in the past mentality of how big Man United are. Like, you've got to remember, we're fifth in the league at the moment. So just because someone's playing really well for us doesn't mean they automatically get in the international setup, I guess. Like, there's 4 teams ahead of us in the league. And Arsenal are one of those. So if one of their players is playing better than ours, then arguably they should be in. And then you've got City, who have got 2 players. Like, Sterling and Grealish don't tend to play together, to be honest. It tends to be one or the other. But at the end of the day, they're top of the league. So maybe that's the reason. I'm just used to thinking of us as being one of the teams at the top of the league. And therefore, if you're playing well for us, you get in. But maybe that's not the case. Well, it's clearly not the case anymore, is it?
Yeah, James, are you worried at all about Rashford's form this season? Because it's just disappeared, and it doesn't feel like it's coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, it's fallen off a cliff, mate. Like, I say this all the time, but Rashford grew up and he lives literally half a mile from my house. Like, he's literally living my dream, right? He's like United lad, local boy, like loved the club his whole life. So when people talk about Rashford and they talk about him not caring and all this, I don't buy into that at all. Like, I know his family and stuff. There's no way he doesn't care about Manchester United. So it's really, really painful to watch, right? Because clearly he's not playing at the level he has in the past. Whenever Rashford gets brought up to me, I always say, like, I watched him a lot at youth level, right? And he was never really a prolific striker ever at youth level. And then when he got brought into the team, when Martial was injured against Midtjylland, scored those 2 goals, right? Took his chance. Next game, scored 2 against Arsenal. Took his chance. And then all of a sudden, he's kind of over-exceeded expectations and been like, right, he's this like world-class striker. And it's like, he was never that growing up. So I kind of think we set the bar really high for him in the first place. Whereas if you compare him to someone like Greenwood, who had a much better scoring rate throughout the whole of youth level, someone like Charlie McNeil now, who has a much better scoring rate throughout the whole of youth level. So I expect a lot of them. Rashford, I didn't really. But then obviously he had a couple of good seasons, Van Gaal, and then on to Mourinho. and he was playing well. And then all of a sudden, like, I mean, I don't think one thing's happened, to be honest. I think if you look at the Euros and the fact that he didn't play at all and then missed that penalty, came back to his mural, being racially abused, suffering all that abuse, having family issues, relationship issues. There's a lot of things that contribute to Rashford. You know, the injury niggles, loads of stuff has contributed to his downfall, but he's not the same player, mate. His confidence is crazy low. I remember seeing him get subbed off against Wolves and he was almost in tears on the bench. He got jeered off in like the 85th minute. And I was like, I've never heard a Manchester United crowd jeer off a local Wythenshawe lad. Like that was crazy for me to hear. And then he got taken out of the limelight, and then you think, you know, come back, do something. But then came back on against Atletico for the first 15 minutes. I don't think he kept the ball, kept giving it away.
Nah.
So
every time.
So yeah, it's tough. It's really, really tough to watch, man. I am worried about his form long term. I never really saw him at the heights, like when people were having the Mbappe Rashford conversation. Never really saw it. Never really saw that level or that conversation. But I do think he's obviously playing way below his ceiling at the moment, and hopefully he can get something back. But he's way off it at the moment, isn't he? Way off it.
No, what should he do? Throw out some advice. What should he do?
First of all, James, you live near me then. I know that then.
Where you from, lad?
Wilmslow, down the road.
Oh, yeah. Literally, I run a supplement store in Hamforth, so we're down the road.
Okay,
some business going on here.
That's where I go. I get some food from Kansas. I get Kansas every Friday as well. So always
sick. Yeah. So he's there. Yeah. We know.
If you know, you know, people.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you call it? With Rashi, it seems to me like it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. What I can see, because I know it can make a massive difference to your game. It happened to me towards the end of my career. Before I kind of dropped out of playing every week. You know, I used to be a starter all the time, and then I was on the bench, and then I got used to being a bench player. Then when I came and get my starts again, it's a different frame of mind, and it was weird. It's like I got a bit more nervous starting games because I'm not used to it anymore, playing for so long off the bench. But then, and then it's like you start getting in the mode of I need to not make a mistake. Rather than I'm going to destroy this player here. You could actually makes a massive difference. Oh, I kept the ball. I hope the manager saw that I kept the ball I get hold of it. I controlled it. I passed it to a man. Yes, a red shirt. That's how you feel. So if he can, my advice would be get hypnotized, mate. I got hypnotized.
I'm not expecting that. Get Paul McKenna out. Like what?
No. Seriously, I'll tell you a story here. Me and Jason Roberts in our season when we were top scorers in the championship, he brought this lady called Marissa Peer. Check online. She does all of like the players and other like sports people and stuff like that. Anyway, she came, she hypnotized me and him. He said, "Listen, I've got this woman coming over. She's gonna hypnotize me. Do you want to do it as well?" And just asking a few of the other lads. We did it. All it does is like you close your eyes and you just start thinking of positive things. Like she tells you to think back to your childhood and stuff like that. But really, you start thinking of like, think of your best player. Think of yourself as that player. And you're going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to score this goal and and all of a sudden you start going into games going, I'm going to do this. I started playing computer games with Cristiano and going, I'm doing the chop next game against whoever. I chopped, what's his name? What's his name at Everton, centre back? I chopped him and scored. No. I never was able to do nothing against him. It was the England defender. I can't remember his name now. He was at Sheffield United, went to Everton. I can't remember his name. Jagielka, that's it. Yeah, Jagielka. Yeah, he got chopped. So that's just because of the FIFA game, you know. But it's going into games saying, listen, I'm going to do this next. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do the Mourinho celebration. You just do everything. And positivity in your mind makes a massive difference. And like I said, I could see it in different players as well. Players that are not even that good. You go, wow, that kid, he's killing it. Wow, he's scoring so many goals. I'm like, he wasn't that good though. Because he's so confident. He's just changed. So for me, I think Rashford really needs to get some confidence back by doing that. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. What else is there that you can do? He's gone on the field. He's working hard again. He went from not working hard to working hard in the last game, but still didn't play too well. I don't know. I just want to see him. Anyway, I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I want him hanging off the last man, having to just beat the defense, put the ball over and let him shoot. I don't want him getting on the left and trying to dribble. He's not a dribbler. He doesn't take players on often. He doesn't do much off the right. He doesn't know how to play off the right. I just want to see him off the last man. If he's going to get something back, it will be doing that. And that's it for me. I don't want to see him anywhere else. Sancho's taken that left spot.
James, what kind of player did you see Rashford as when you saw him at youth level?
He was a forward. He just wasn't really prolific. Like, he was very quick, wasn't very skillful or whatever. Didn't have a particularly great shot on him. He was just busy and involved in the game. And I don't really like his goal scoring record wasn't crazy, but like I said, you compare it to someone like Greenwood, who's probably broken every record at youth level for goal scoring. So when he came in, it was literally like, you know, he was bagging goals. I was like not surprised in the slightest. Whereas with Rashford, I was surprised. The hypnotism thing is interesting, actually. I just wanted to ask Nate, like, because I don't know exactly about your career in terms of like beginning date, end date, or anything. How much of it crossed the social media thing, and how much of an impact do you think that has on Rashford and that kind of thing? Because that must be pretty tough to deal with, right?
That's a great point.
Here's something else. So the social media wasn't so much in our faces. It was there coming towards the end. I was on Twitter and stuff, and I did get a bit of abuse down the end, and that was just from me calling out racism at Millwall Stadium when we was playing. So I got death threats. I got everything. But earlier on in my career, I was on fire, yeah. At Bristol Rovers, I was killing it, scoring goals up for fun, and I just wanted to see what everyone was saying about me because I'm scoring. I'm top scorer. I'm thinking there's only going to be positive comments, yeah.
That's never true. I get shit all the time, honestly.
It's ridiculous. I go online. I'm searching on Bristol Rovers website, fans forums, reading all the good stuff. Yeah. You're good. One thing, he's fat or he's crap. Oh my gosh, it's in my head all day. Oh, like, oh my gosh. But I'm not bad. I'm not fat. I'm not fat. Oh, man. I'm not rubbish. And every other good thing is no longer in your mind.
Yeah, of course.
And then you used to pick up the newspapers as well. You look up the newspapers and you start seeing it. And then you're like, you know what? I ain't reading newspapers ever again, and I ain't going on any more sites ever again. And that's what changed everything. I'm telling you, I never looked at anything ever again. And my advice would be any football player, don't touch social media, don't touch a newspaper, and definitely don't touch a fan forum, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Honestly, it's great advice. And look, I'm not ever going to say that I played football anywhere near the level of you, but I was in the limelight playing for a football team on YouTube, and it was getting over a million hits. Like per episode, whatever, yeah. And it was the same with me. I got there and I was saying, come on, take shots at me. Come on, no one could score.
Invincible.
They called me the black Mark Crossley. No one could score penalties past me. No, it weren't happening. I was like a brick wall, mate, yeah. I got here, I read a comment. He's trash. He's rubbish. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And it's absolute stormer. It's rubbish. So I'm like, that's it. Oh, the next thing I know, I went through YouTube. Worst thing I could have ever done. Worst thing I've done. Scroll down in YouTube. It is a cesspit in there. Never, ever do that. Don't ever go to the YouTube comments. It was horrible. They say things that have nothing to do with football. You're like, what? My hairline. It's
because it's faceless, right? So when I started doing fan content and stuff, I started having opinions. All of a sudden, all you're doing is speaking about football, right? That's all I'm doing is giving my opinion on what I see on a football pitch. I've watched football for 30 odd years, just giving an opinion on football, right? And then I read the comments and I was like, Jesus Christ! Oh my God! And I messaged Flat. I was like, mate, people, I can't do this. I can't be doing this. He's like, mate. Honestly, he was like, I'll give you one bit of advice. It's like, keep your head out the comments. Don't look at a single thing. Like, it's only negative. He's like, literally, it'll ruin you. Just ignore everything. Absolutely, ignore anything. And since then, it's probably more positive than negative. But like at the start, mate, honestly, I told Martial to I was like, you know, the game where Martial refused to be in the squad, Brentford, I think it was. Right? Refused to be in the squad. So like we only got told that by Ranić. So I was like, literally, like he can get out of the club. If he doesn't want to play for us, he can leave, right? woke up the next day, like I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, right? Woke up the next day, 50 DMs. You racist! You racist! How dare you say that about Anthony Martial? I'm like, what are you talking about?
You left the DMs open.
Colour, yeah, how does his skin colour come into the fact that I don't want him to play again? I slag Maguire off every week. Come on. It's jokes, mate. So it was just stay clear of it.
Yeah. Stay away from the comments, stay away from the newspapers, stay away from it, people.
But and subscribe and comment below.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Comment below. Look, I don't care anymore. I've got nothing to worry about, all right? You can talk all you want about me, it's all good. I've got replies to the comments, so it's all good. I tell everyone else to stay away from it. Stay away. Gosh. It's not going to do your head any good, all right? But yeah. And we've all been in the same situation. It's good. This is like a therapy session for me.
Yeah, there's levels, obviously. Like I'm lying down here, but that's the
fact that Nathan was getting it like that. But you know, a pro, and you were smashing in goals at Bristol Rovers as well. And the fact that they're calling you out there, it's crazy. It shows. Yeah. Don't listen to the comment section. It's horrible. Another place where I've seen some crazy comments as well. Your top goal scorer, Cristiano Ronaldo. Some say he shouldn't have come back. Some say, look, where would Man United be this season without him? But a lot of people are talking about how he's a fraud now. He's coming towards the end of his career, and people shouldn't be calling him the GOAT. He shouldn't be in the same conversation as Messi. Where is this stemming from? They're saying he was just a goal scorer.
Nath, do you want to take it or do you want me to go?
Go on.
Right.
I don't even know what to say to that. Oh my god.
So on the GOAT thing, right? GOAT is an acronym for greatest of all time. It's irrelevant what you're doing now. It's all time. So it spans your whole career, right? So the fact that you're saying you can't call him the GOAT, of course you can. You can call like Jack Nicklaus the GOAT of golf. You can call Pele the GOAT of football if you want. Long gone. Like they stopped playing a long time ago. They can still be the GOAT. They don't have to be performing now. It's about what you've done throughout your career. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored 807 goals in three of the four toughest leagues in the world. In the Italian league, in the Spanish league, and in the Premier League, right? So he's done it at multiple different clubs. He's got 5 Ballon d'Ors. He's got multiple Champions Leagues. He's got the all-time scorer record in the Champions League. All-time scoring record all over the place internationally. All-time cap record internationally. Like, the guy's an absolute joke, right? So for people to discredit him like that and say he's just a goal scorer, clearly don't recognise the 18, 19-year-old kid that we signed from Sporting who wasn't a goal scorer and got turned into an absolute machine by Sir Alex Ferguson. Like, I remember at the time, right, we were linked with Ronaldinho just before we signed him, right? And we wanted to pay like 21 million, and Barca wanted like they wanted like 25 million, and we were like, no, we're not paying it. And then the next thing, Sky Sports News was like, oh, we signed this lad Cristiano Ronaldo for 12.8 million, and I was fuming at the time, mate. I was livid. I was like, who's this kid? And then we played Bolton on his debut, right? And he just was like running rings around people, and I was like, okay, this kid could work. Like, he really could work. And then obviously what he did in the United shirt is incredible the first time round. And then the second time round, listen, we've brought him back. He's 37, right? So he's obviously not going to be the player he was 10 years ago. I don't think anyone's saying he is. I don't think anyone's saying he's exactly at the level he was 10 years ago. Ronaldo's clearly on the decline, right? But when you're on the decline from being the very best of all time, even when you're coming down, you're still at a level, yeah? So he can still go and score 3 against Tottenham. He can still score the winner against Villarreal, still score the winner against Atalanta, still score goals against Arsenal. He can do all that kind of stuff. So, like, for you to say he's gone, or for anyone to say he's gone and he's rubbish and he's the problem at United, is like way off the mark.
So you think he's bringing him back was a good thing then, James? You think?
I mean, there's pros and cons to it. We don't know where we'd have been without Ronaldo because it didn't happen, right? Like, if you look at what Solskjaer was preparing for, it was like Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, Greenwood through the middle, and then it was like a quick 4-3-3 counter-attacking team, right? So he was preparing for that. But then you get offered the chance to sign Ronaldo for like 2.5 million over 5 years. It's like, well, you take it, don't you? And you stop City getting him, you get him. So then that whole thing went out, and then obviously we lost Greenwood. So it's like, all of a sudden, with Cavani writing his own sick note, with the fact we don't have Greenwood, it's like, you need Ronaldo. Because our only other option is an out-of-form Rashford or a Langer through the middle, unless we bring McNeil in the squad. So it's not a case of was it a good decision. I think looking back, we had to do it. Had to. Yeah,
I think so as well. Nathan, I'll give you Antonio Cassano's comments. He said, "I take my hat off to the 870 goals he scored, but Cristiano Ronaldo is not among the best players in the world. Goal scorer, yes. He's a strong forward. Did he win titles? Yes. Cristiano Ronaldo is like Pippo Inzaghi, David Trezeguet. They were fabulous players, but in all honesty, playing football is something else." And then he goes on to say that Zidane, I wasn't even seeing you two.
I'm done.
He went on to say Zidane is his favourite player, but that's just a preference of a type of player that you like. It's not. You can't just write him off of being. Of all that he's won, all that he's done.
Hey.
Go on.
Is he taking a mick or what?
It must be.
Hey, listen. Inzaghi was just a goal scorer.
Yeah, literally.
Just
goal scorer,
in the box.
Just. Yeah.
Offside.
Yes.
Give him time, he won't score. Let him not think about it. Score a million goals. He's a bad man. But Cristiano is ridiculous. When he was younger, he was turning everyone, pacing out everybody, skilling up everyone 5 times over. What more do you want? Like there was nothing he couldn't do. He was that good. But when you get older and older and you go up front, you don't have to do all that stuff. So then he became the guy who was in the right position and scoring ridiculous goals and knew how to be a striker that nobody else has ever been able to. So how can anyone say anything like that? And now he's 37. Okay, he's nowhere near the pace that he had, but he's coming down and still probably. Who's better striker than him in the league now anyway?
I think only Salah's got more goals,
Yeah.
I think he's second in the league behind Salah in a shocking United team, really.
Yeah,
exactly. I've said one thing. United were not set up to have him in the side.
Yeah.
That I just think that Greenwood, Sancho and Rashford, I was like licking my lips. I was like, oh my gosh, all that pace on the counter-attack is going to be ridiculous. And then we bring him in, and then it's like, oh man, no Greenwood time now. He's gone. Yeah. And then you find that Rashford's not playing well, and then Sancho's not doing well. Then all of a sudden, you got nothing. You got no support and nothing to provide Cristiano with, and that's what he needs now. In this time of his years, he needs providing for, like City would have done and give. I said if he was at City right now, he'd have double the goals now, 100%, maybe even triple. So. They're getting 20 chances a game. Like for us, I was getting frustrated when I'm seeing obviously he's getting a bit older, and you can see them games where if he was a bit younger, he would have done better with that. But that's because we're expecting the younger Ronaldo to do what the younger Ronaldo did when he gets one-on-one with a player. Oh, he's gonna skin him. Oh no, he's gonna skin him. Oh, no. You notice that he can't do that anymore. He is now a goal scorer, but he's not just a goal scorer now either, because he'll get it. Tap it to the left, right, bang! Like, that isn't an Inzaghi thing. The hat-trick, jump in the air, bang! You can't do that stuff. Like, even the best players of today. Yeah, this is what I remember. Everyone talking about Lukaku coming back, yeah? But who was top scorer in the league, in that league last year? Cristiano.
Yeah.
And Lukaku's coming back, being the main man. I'm the big guy. But Cristiano's old man, and he's still ahead of him. So, and he's even had a better season than him this season. So for me, no one can put any dirt on his name. He is the greatest of all time. He's not my favorite of all time. He's not the best player of all time in terms of ability. R9 way better than everybody ever for me. Yeah,
I agree.
But this guy, greatest of all time, meaning done the most in the game ever. Like no one else can do more than what he's done. I don't think anyone's going to top it either.
And you've got to have respect for the athleticism as well. Because you've got Messi over here, who's what people would say is the natural talent, who's dribbling it around everyone. But then Cristiano Ronaldo is not that player there, so he's got to change his game, and he's kept up with Messi the whole time. It's the conversation that everyone has: who's better, Messi or Ronaldo? And for someone who is apparently not naturally talented, the same as Messi, you've got to give him props for being in that conversation year on year out, and actually winning the Ballon d'Ors ahead of him as well. And you'd think that a player like Antonio Cassano is only 2 years older than Cristiano Ronaldo and fully retired.
Yeah.
Like he's got to have a bit more respect for a player like that, surely.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? His athleticism's crazy, mate. Like, he's absolute jokes. What he's doing at 37 is beyond a joke. On the Messi Ronaldo discussion, like, I'm not saying that one, like, it's an opinion thing, right? So for me, Ronaldo's the greatest of all time. That doesn't that doesn't discredit Messi in any way. It's just my personal preference. What I've seen him do for my club and multiple other clubs is just unparalleled, in my opinion. So yeah, he's absolutely unbelievable. But it's like hard work and talent beats just talent every time. And Messi doesn't strike me as the hardest worker in the room. Ronaldo's the hardest worker in every room, and he's talented, and he's been the hardest worker in every room for the past 19 years. And that's exactly why he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he's my.
Just want to add to that.
Good.
I just want to add to that. It's weird because it's a different sport, but they have this debate with Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Yeah,
and Michael Jordan is probably the better scorer of all time. But in terms of the best,
it's LeBron, man. It's LeBron.
Longevity, it's ridiculous. LeBron is way more now than ever anyone's ever done. So
yeah, I agree.
LBJ, you're the man.
Yeah, come at me.
You're the GOAT.
King James, man.
Love it, James.
Let's go.
All right. So Man United have got a 2-week break, but when they come back, they've got 3 games they have to win if they're going to be in contention for top 4. They've got Leicester at home, they've got Everton away, and they've got Norwich at home. James, is there any of those games where you think they could potentially slip up?
All 3. Well, the fact you said potentially slip up, I mean, realistically, we could potentially slip up in all 3. Do I think we're going to slip up at Norwich? No. Do I think we're going to slip up Leicester at home? You know, I used to be really, really confident when we were at home. Unfortunately, Old Trafford's been a bit toxic this season, and probably pretty understandably so, right? But there's some games where recently we've played away and we've won them. But if they'd have been at home, we might not have won them. Like, I'll go back to the Brentford game, right? They battered us in the first half, absolutely peppered us, right? If that game would have been at Old Trafford, they'd have got booed off at half time and they might not have won that game 3-1 because the atmosphere can, I'm sure Nathan will say, the atmosphere can have a massive effect on you, your confidence as a player. Like, if people are booing you, do you want to take that risk for the pass or do you want to just try and play it safe and not, get the criticism? So, at home against Leicester, it's a big game. They're not in great form, so you would hope that we could beat them. And then Everton, I mean, I've been to Goodison a few times. We usually beat them, but they could be a banana skin. Not sure, really.
They're in a relegation battle now.
They are. They need the points, man. Like, Lampard's gone there. They're thinking he was going to turn stuff around. Where's Team Donny van der Beek now? Because that's like, Donny van der Beek FC. I'm not heard from him in a while. I saw his debut, I think, and he looked okay. And then since then, I've not seen a full Everton game. I've just read comments and stuff on Twitter, which is a dangerous thing to do. But I've read them, and by all accounts and purposes, he's not been the best for them. My thing with Donny is there's been 2 managers now that have seen him in training and not given him a chance. And I always think when multiple managers have said something or seen something in you, then I'm kind of going to give credit to the professionals that they are. Like, when people slag off Scott McTominay all the time, I'm like, well, there's about 5 or 6 managers and world-class players that have all had their comments on him that love him. Yet Joe 654 on Twitter seems to think that he can't kick a ball. And it's like, well, I trust Mourinho and Ferguson and the Scottish manager and Ollie and Ranić, and I trust their opinion over yours. So yeah, it's a weird one, but yeah. That's it from me.
So true.
It is, isn't
it? Nathan, these are the games that you've got to be winning before you take on Liverpool away from home and then a massive 6-pointer against Arsenal.
Look, I don't know if saying I don't think we're going to even make top 4, but thing is, well, are we all gonna just be losing games and trying to give it to each other? Tottenham, Man U, Arsenal. Are we all gonna be trying to give it to each other? And whoever does worse at giving it to each other wins? I don't know. And that's the way it seems right now. But the only thing I can say is Arsenal, watching them play, we're gonna have They
played well yesterday, man. They played well. Exactly. I know they lost, but they played well.
That's football. That's proper football, proper intensity. I was like, this is nice. I might have to watch a bit more. But no, I'm not watching them no more. But look, Man United, man, I just don't know what they're going to bring, if they're going to continue to improve or they're going to just stay like this and just get to the end of the season. I was very excited watching some of the games when we started to improve and we were looking like, wow, we're looking like we're going somewhere. And then we just come back to square one. And I'm like, I don't know if we're going to get there with this squad. We need to get new blood in here. We need new blood in this squad. And I'm just really like thinking, you know what? I don't care if we don't get Champions League because I don't think we can do well if we get in it anyway. We need time to just change. We need time to make things happen. So when this new manager comes in terms of like being patient, you know what that consists of? Losing games against teams you're not supposed to lose against. And then sitting there going, nothing. Listen, we're changing. We're in this position right now. Give it another season. We might end up 6 again. But what's the point being in the Champions League trying to get one old guy in the squad for 1 year again? What's the point in that? So we can make it to this part and get knocked out again. We're never going to win it. I was never thinking in my mind we're going to win the Champions League this year. Never. We can't even batter the teams at lower team level of the league. When Crystal Palace can go and play City and draw 0-0, we can't even play a game of it, make a game of it. How? So at the moment, I'm not too bothered about the next games. I just want to watch the games and enjoy the games. And that's it. I don't even care. I swear to you now, I don't even care. I'm not thinking about a top 4 race until we're on the same games as you and we're in and around you still. Yeah. That's it.
I think what plays into your hands, though, is the games in hands that Arsenal have. One was against Liverpool, one was against Tottenham, and the other one's against like West Ham or something like that. So the games in hands are against teams that are in and around them, or teams that are at the top of the table. It's not as if they got games in hands against Burnley, Norwich, and Watford. Like they've still got to play. Arsenal got the toughest run, so I wouldn't write off your top 4 hopes just yet. James, you mentioned watching youth. Who do you think can come through the youth and make a serious impact in this Man United team? Who's got the real talent in that youth squad that could translate that into the first team?
There's quite a few, to be honest, but you never quite know, do you? You never quite know if they're going to make it until they come through and get put in that pressure cauldron that is Old Trafford. Like I said, I really believe Charlie McNeil deserves a shout. I think Cavani's next to never playing. Ronaldo's our only striker option, and we can do with one off the bench, and the guy bags goals for fun. Technically, he's very, very good. So I'd love to see him in the first team squad. Not necessarily get game time, but the chance to train with someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, I think would be huge for his career. Yeah. Absolutely huge. So I'd get him in the squad straight away. Jimmy Garner doing bits on loan, looks very, very good. We obviously need a DM. I think we should sign one, but I think he's an excellent option to have in there. Ethan Laird doing bits at Swansea as well as a right back. Like none of our fullbacks are tearing it up at the moment. All 4 are very much of a muchness. So Laird coming back, and then actually in the youth setup, you've got Hannibal Mabry, you've got Zidane Iqbal, you've got Shoretire, you've got Garnacho, and they're all players, man. Like Garnacho,
Shoretire is a serious winger.
He does, Matt. So, like, the thing is with Shoretire and Iqbal is they're just a little, Mebry as well to some extent, they're just a little lightweight for the positions they play on the pitch. I just want to see them, like, a little bit more physical. Alanga's having that kind of issue at the moment, right? Like, when Alanga starts games, it's like, I just see him get bullied physically a little bit. I want to see him bulk up a bit. But Garnacho, man, as fullback, like, he's a player. And I mean a player
You see that goal? Like, that long run he did with pace. Oh my God.
The guy's jokes, mate, honestly. So, like, yeah, I'd like to see them in. Like, I'd love to see, like, honestly, if we're going to write off the next couple of years as a rebuild, can you have Garnacho and Laird as your fullbacks and just get and like give him a couple of runs in games? Like, I said to Flex the other day, I was like, would you take 2 years of mediocrity, mid-table mediocrity, maybe relegation, to give some of the 4 or 5 of the youth players a go? I mean, because we're not going to challenge for champions. Well, no, I'm not saying get relegated, but like realistically, if we play the youth, they're not going to finish top 6, are they? We're realistically going to be somewhere in between 10th and 16, 17. So it's like, would you take that as an option? Because a lot of them are playing with a lot more passion than the lads we've got in the team at the moment, and some of them have great technical ability as well. So, and not on big wages, which does come into how they play. I think sometimes
100%, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a mid-table. I mean, actually, to be fair, it does. I was to compare it to Arsenal when they did come mid-table. They came 8th 2 seasons in a trot, but to be fair, a lot of those players that they came 8th with were the older, experienced players, the likes of Mustafi, Socrates, Ozil was in the team, and they've got rid of them players, and they've got rid of also the players that were sort of bad attitudes. and they've brought through the players from the youth team, the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and they've brought in young players. So it doesn't necessarily have to all be from your youth team, and you can add a bit of experience in with that, and it can work. It can definitely work. And if you do bring in the likes of Ten Hag, it could be definitely going down that route. All right.
I'd like to see a mix, I'd like to see a mix of them young boys coming in and around the players that are cemented in the side. You know, like your Varane, your Sancho, maybe Fred in the attacking midfield spot now.
He's been quality recently.
Last 2 games, man, he's been good.
That bit of skill. That bit of skill.
The little kick on. Oh, man. Jesus, stop it.
I would have gone. I'd have been like, sub. Yeah, I'm off. I'm coming off.
Fred just did that to me. Oh my God.
Back in your day, Nathan,
Wow.
that was on the show reel on Soccer AM. That one.
Yeah, you know
That was
it.
straight
Yeah,
on the show reel.
100%. 100%.
That was sick.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But yeah. And having a name like Garnacho as well, just having that name on its own, just put him left back anyway. Just put him.
Yeah. Why not?
So it'd be nice.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That is all we have time for. I'd like to thank James very much for coming on tonight. Thank you very much for coming on tonight, James.
Cheers, guys. Honestly, loved it. Anytime I'm free, happy to jump on.
Let everyone know where they can find you online, on Twitter, on Instagram.
Yeah, so
And in Handforth.
Yeah, and in Handforth, yeah. So it's at jdixon_88 on Twitter, and you'll find me on Instagram there. Or United View TV, the YouTube channel. Go and have a look on there. I'm usually on there post-game or on some of the Sunday shows. So, yeah, that's where you find me.
All right. I didn't know earlier when you were saying James 8888, you was talking about yourself.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm old enough to be born in the same year as Juan Mata. So 1988 I was born in.
All right. An 80s baby. Yes.
Yeah, just about.
Baby.
Just about.
All right. And thank you, of course, my co-host, Nathan Ellington.
It's been good. It's been great.
All right. I'd like to thank everyone in the comments section. Absolutely smashing it tonight. Buzzing in there. Love that. All right. Appreciate your support as well. Before we go, please press that like and subscribe button. If you are watching on Twitter, come over to KS1 TV and join us next time in the chat. If you are watching on Facebook, change the settings so we can see who you are. You're not just an egg. I talk to an egg, but just so we can see who you are. All right. And press that subscribe button, of course. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.